What's up, fellas? Yeah, Anthony, anytime I can drop you in, as we know, you are a hardcore MLB
Yes.
elite, so have to do
Entrenched.
it. Have to do it.
Matt, what is up, my man?
Can you believe this, Kenny? I mean, let's go get Scooble tonight, man. Let's do this.
Do I look like I'm scared of that dude after what we've done to him?
You look terrified.
Not very scared. I know we're underdogs. We are underdogs tonight.
We're underdogs?
Yes, we are.
How's that possible, Matt?
They should be. I mean, come on. Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher on the planet, and I know he's not 100%. You could kind of tell. I was in the stadium on Thursday in Detroit for it, and he was wincing a lot and a lot of stretching. He's got a side issue that he's been dealing with, but man, he's still at 80 or 70 or 80%, still as good as anybody. So it's not going to be easy, but the way these guys are playing, how they're playing together, they're loose but focused, and the Tigers are gripping right now. You can just tell they're very tight.
Matt Derry joining us here from the Derry Brothers Guardians cast. We'll also ask you a little bit of Lions later on, but this is a Guardians interview we want to do with you. What has been the change in the lineup, specifically Bo Naylor, with his approach? He's been better here over the last month.
I don't know. I mean, maybe just a confidence thing. He's had some decent swings throughout the summer, but when you're hitting below 200 and you're popping the ball up a ton and just right now he's got a swagger as he comes to the plate. You just see the confidence there, and it's huge. And I'll tell you what, Stephen Vogt deserves a lot of credit because he was putting Bo in the 5-hole, and my brother and I on the podcast or whomever was saying, what is he doing? Why is Bo Naylor sub 700 OPS, and why is he hitting fifth? But there was something Stephen Vogt saw in him. Maybe it was pregame work, maybe it was stuff in the cage, whatever. And it's clicking now, and it's been huge for them because they're still challenged offensively. We know that. The reason why they've won 16 of 19 is because of the pitching mostly. But a guy like Bo Naylor's really stepped up at a huge series over the weekend, and so got to keep it rolling.
All right, well, you brought up the pitching, and I had the number earlier today. It might be a little outdated now because it was from a couple of days ago, but runs allowed last 18 games. Cleveland, 28. Next closest, the Cubs, 65. Minnesota, dead last, 119. So it shows you just how dominant they have been. Is it dominant enough not only to push them to the finish line here at the end of the year to get them in the playoffs, but also for them to legitimately have a chance to win in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. They're at a stretch, and Tom Hamilton brings this up all the time on the broadcast. I think they're in a stretch where there's going to be a little bit of regression. I mean, come on, if they're averaging, like you said, Anthony, a run and a half, giving up a game, that's nearly impossible to keep up. It just isn't. You got two pretty good offenses coming in this week with Detroit, who's not been swinging the bat well at all, and then Texas. And I know Texas is kind of out of it now, but still have some guys that are elite hitters in their lineup. So that'll be a good test, obviously. But I love what they've done with the 6-man rotation. Guys are rested. The bullpen's been really good, and he's got confidence in these guys. Look at the confidence that Vogt has put into Tim Herron over the last couple of weeks. Now he's delivering. So guys are feeling good. I just don't know, Anthony, if they can keep this kind of run up where it's a run and a half a game. That's kind of tough to do.
What did you and your brother say about Tim Herron after the other day? Because I had to come out and admit, I was like, man, there's not a lot of confidence when he goes out there. And I know some of this is a crapshoot, but, man, you got one on, nobody out. He goes out there, strikes out the side. I mean, that's just a big outing and a high-leverage moment.
Well, remember, Ken, the week before against the Royals, Vogt put him in a spot where they had a lead in the 6th, and he came in instead of Saprowski.
He got smashed.
And we were both like, what is he doing? Like, Tim Herron hasn't pitched well all year. Was just down to AAA. Really only came up because Nick Enright was hurt. But the way he pitched in Detroit, the way he pitched in Minnesota, you could tell he's got the curveball's working right now. He really has. Lefties have had a hard time with him, so that's great. This is the Tim Herron from last year. And if, like we just said, there's a confidence right now. You can see what Carl Willis and that pitching factory have done with some of ththese guys. Slade Ciccone pitching with kind of confidence never had before. A Herron, Festa, although I know he was bad over the weekend, but like that guy was off the scrap heap, and they found a guy that, as we like to say, Festa Live. That's a daily show. He's out there every day. So it's been working. It's been great to see.
The 6-man rotation. how much credit do we need to give Vogt and the organization for coming up with this? Because it seems like it's got other teams, especially Detroit, kind of having to match them, having to react to the move that they made.
I think a lot of it, too, is just trying to limit innings and outings for these young guys. I mean, Logan Allen, Gavin Williams, Tanner Bybee, these guys are all probably around their innings limit for what the guys in the front office, were thinking about to start the year. They also wanted to take a look at Joey Cantillo because I think they felt he was ready to come back up and contribute. So you can't take Messick out. You can't take Logan Allen out because he has pitched pretty well. So they're like, hey, let's go with 6 guys, save some innings and some, the arms of these young guys. And then it just so happened that they just start winning all these games. Let's be honest, Detroit has helped. I mean, the Tigers are choking. They are. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Are they a bad team? No, they're still really good. They had 4 or 5 All-Stars this year, and the next 2 nights, Skubal and Flaherty are legit starters. They got a good team. But they're just gripping right now, and so them losing, I mean, the way they played this weekend against the Braves, they were not even competitive Friday and Sunday in 2 of the 3 games. So that's helped that they've been losing and the Guardians have been winning.
Matt, looking at the job that Stephen Vogt has done, looking at the job this organization has done, how hard is it or how easy is it for you to make separations between the ownership and everybody else? Because we've had some people, and it almost seems like they're rooting against him just to kind of prove some sort of point to the Dolans, or like the Paul Dolan would learn some sort of lesson. And I'm going, man, it would take a lot of years. It'd take at least a few years of really, really, really bad baseball for them to kind of change what they're doing. And I'm going, man, I think you can separate it. Like, I think a lot of owners are meant to be disliked. I think the vast majority of owners are meant to be disliked by their fan bases. So I think it's easy for me to separate ownership with the team. Has it been hard for you?
At times it has, yes. I mean, look, when they were in the doldrums this summer and below 500, and Anthony mentioned the 10-game losing streak, I mean, Ken, you're like, we just don't have enough good players. And why is that? Why didn't the owner go get or tell his front office to go get a real right fielder, a real center fielder, whatever it was? And they're playing a lot of young guys. And yes, they've got faith in the young guys, but the young guys are also cheap. They just are. That's how it works in the game. And so sometimes you get frustrated, especially when they're losing. But man, the way they're playing now, how they're playing for him, I think Stephen Vogt has kept an even keel the whole time. I don't think he ever brings stuff like that up. I think it's always about, I like our team, I like our players. And at times this summer, I was like, what do you like about Daniel Schneemann playing every day? What do you like about Jhonkensy Noel's OPS at 400? But yet, these guys have all contributed in some way, and he's stuck with them. And it is the little underdog and the little engine that could, but eventually, we all want a championship. Like, this has been fun right now. Having a blast, but if again they make it into the playoffs and make a little bit of a run, and then the big bad Yankees or the high payroll Blue Jays beat them, then we're going to have to get back to that discussion because it's still about getting a ring, is it not?
True.
6 games to go. What is their record, do you think? Oh, we won't hold you to it. I'm just for anybody listening.
Hold them to it.
What's their record need to be to make the wild card? What's their record need to be to win the division?
I think, let's say they lose tonight. Let's just say that, all right? Tarek Skubal is the best on the planet, man, as far as starting pitchers in my book. So if somehow Skubal pitches great and maybe Gavin does his job, but we lose 2-1 or something, all right, you're 2 back. But if you can take the next 2, it's Thursday. I don't even know who the Tigers are starting. They basically have 3 starters, and that's it. Casey Mize pitched on Sunday, so that's up in the air. So if you're even going into the weekend, remember, Detroit has to go to Boston to play the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Not easy. The Red Sox have to win games to make the wild card. And the Red Sox have a guy in Alex Bregman that the Tigers offered a pretty decent contract to. And if Bregman somehow were to come back this weekend and kind of pulverize the team that really wanted him, that would be a storyline to watch. And then the Guardians are playing a Rangers team that are really bad on the road. So I think as long as you're not swept this week, well, obviously if you get swept, it's over for the division. But I think taking 2 out of 3 in both series, I think you're in good shape to at least get in somehow and root against these other teams. But I'm not going to go the Darryl Ryder route and guarantee the division, but I like their chances. I do.
What right now, we talk about puckering up. What is the vibe where you live in Detroit?
It's bad. It's bad. I mean, thank God the Lions won last night because the Tiger fans they're furious. Remember, they don't like their owner here either. Yes, Chris Ilitch, the owner, went out and got Flaherty and Gleyber Torres on one-year deals, which was more than what we did. But at the trade deadline, instead of going and getting Justin Verlander or a bigger name, they signed Charlie Morton and Chris Paddock, or they traded for Charlie Morton and Chris Paddock. Paddock is in the bullpen. He's brutal. And Morton was just DFA'd. Mm-hmm. So there's anger here that they're choking, and they deserve it because of the lack of really a go-for-it mentality they had at the deadline when they had the best record in the American League. So there's people here very angry at what's going on. And, man, if they were to lose tonight with Skubal, that could really, really snowball.
Are there any comparisons between Paul Dolan and Chris Ilitch?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Other than they're both baseball owners.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, Ilitch has two teams here, and the Red Wings have been bad for 10 years. They've made the playoffs in 10 years. So there's anger with their fans. There's anger with our fans, with our ownership. I think there's a lot of these mid-market owners. I think Ken and Anthony, we talked about this earlier this summer. I think a lot of these owners are looking at 2027 and, kind of keeping the books tight and maybe a lockout and not spending until after they figure out the labor situation. And that's sad because you want to at least try. There's this year and next year. So, but yeah, there's some comparisons for sure.
And the reason I ask that question, everybody, is because, Paul is Larry's son, and Mike Ilitch was the owner of the Detroit Tigers before he passed away, and Chris is his son. That's why that question is asked. Matt Derry joining us here on the show. Your scale of confidence, 1 to 10, in Cade Smith as a closer?
It's probably up right now, so I'd probably say 8. Is that? I think that 8 is accurate. He seems to be throwing the ball much better. Look, I was there Tuesday night when Kerry Carpenter took him deep. I mean, that was a good pitch. That was 98 high and outside, and you got to tip your cap sometimes. That dude has a lot of power, and that was dead center. It wasn't like he threw a cutter at 88 right down the middle. I thought he hit a good pitch, but I like the way Cade's been throwing the ball lately, and man, the rest that he got over the weekend, not having to pitch Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I think is huge for this week.
All right, Lions, Browns, Sunday. You host Locked On Lions as well, so I have to ask you about this. What's the sigh of relief? No Ben Johnson. Week 1, not very good, but the offense is humming the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but the Jim Schwartz revenge tour is this weekend.
Okay.
Woo!
All right.
No, I'm being serious. Actually, the Browns defense, man, what they did to Green Bay was impressive, and Mason Graham is playing great. I think the Lions right now, that's the key to the whole thing is offensive line. Against Green Bay in week 1, that group, especially the interior of the O-line, 3 new starters there, were horrible against the Packers. Last 2 weeks against the Bears, and everybody watched last night against the Ravens, and I know that was sweet for Browns fans to watch. I enjoyed it. The offensive line was great. They just dominated. It helped that Matabike was out and Kyle Van Noy was out, but still dominant. So now you're talking about a Mason Graham and a Myles Garrett going up against Decker and Glasgow and those guys, and that'll be great to watch this week. But the confidence level is very high here after the last 2 weeks.
What are you concerned with their defense at all?
Terrion Arnold, their second corner, and obviously their number 1 pick from 2 years ago, just has not played well. I would expect that the Browns would try to pick on number 6 a little bit. But otherwise, man, Brian Branch is a stud. Hutchinson's starting to get healthy. Linebackers are really good. And yes, they gave up 30 points last night, but the way they bottled up Lamar Jackson, 7 sacks, nobody saw that coming. And a lot of it was coverage downfield. DJ Reed has been a nice addition. And there's 2 safeties, I think, are the best safety tandem in the game. So won't be easy, certainly for it never is with that offense, but Lions defense is better. It is.
Is this a classic game where fans go up to Ford Field who are Browns fans and they see and they go, oh, this is why we're getting a dome?
It's been years now that the Lions have played there. They moved in, 2002? I remember when my brother and the EP, as we call him, came up to Cleveland for Lions-Browns. That was the Stafford injured shoulder game. Yeah, Ford Field's pretty cool. I'm a proponent of outdoor stadiums. Growing up in Cleveland and all of that, I think the Browns should be playing outside. But man, Ford Field is a gem. It's really good. And yes, when you get into November and December, it is kind of nice that you're inside. And it's changed now. All these teams are playing indoors and trying to get Super Bowls and Final Fours. So I see both sides of it.
Matt Derry at Derry Speaks on social media. Derry Brothers Guardians Cast. It's available on the free Odyssey app as well as Locked On Lions. Matt, thank you for the time.
Fellas, first thing yesterday morning, I was up at 6 a.m. so I could see on the YouTube channel Super Bowl, Super Browns.
What did you think? How did it look?
I would say a 7 out of 10.
You know,
only a 7 out of 10. Why?
You know why? No Michael Stanley. We're working on some things behind the scenes. So,
but can I say 10 out of 10 for Ken's cigar video from Sunday? I love that. The cigar and the laughing I love that. That was a 10.
I had a boss send me something. I didn't even know it was my boss's number. I didn't even know it was my boss who sent me it. I got nervous, but he liked it.
Good. No, yeah. I liked it too. So, all right, boys, let's go. Let's get it done.
Matt, thank you very much. The great Matt Derry. Derry Brothers Guardians Cast on the free Odyssey.